lethal heart attack.
And go.
And the monster disappeared.
But for real.
Are we for real though?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's on there.
Great. I'm glad you guys have my back. Welcome back, adventurers. My name is Eli, the Game Master, and this is A Good Day to Die. Last week, I'm focused. I'm in the zone. Last we left off, the group had finally defeated Melchior Hawthorne on the top of the Drimport Lighthouse. Shush. And spewing forth from his corpse came out this bestial abyssal creature that the group had to defeat, that flew around and they had no idea how to deal with that. After defeating the creature, Ragnar had collected the head of Melchior Hawthorne and they had retreated back to the base of the lighthouse where they began the rescue mission to help anyone that had been lost or wounded during the Black Blood attack. And it seemed that defeating Melchior Hawthorne and doing away with the creature that came forth from his mouth had completely saved the town of Drimport, purging this curse from anyone that had been infected. Later on, the group had found themselves on the Island of Power. There they had rested, gained their levels, regained all of their hit points, and that morning, it seemed that Damon was struggling with some metaphorical inner demons. You have to say metaphorical because in Pathfinder, inner demons can be a very real thing.
As well as editing.
In dealing with this, Damon and Dr. Isaac started airing out some dirty laundry that the rest of the group were forced to be privy to. After which Damon had a vision where he was visited once again by Handsome Joe, who had sweetened the proposal that he had extended to Damon so long ago. Damon gathering up his dwarven ale after the affliction had been taken, the affliction of drunkenness had been taken from him to Manzerek, who is 8 times lighter than Damon.
I am so drunk.
Oh yeah.
I am.
You're just gonna have to regurgitate your stomach and then like milk that out of there, just wring all that alcohol out of there.
So he accepted the infliction. So he just pulled the alcohol straight into his blood system.
Oh yeah.
It's not in his stomach.
He's dead. You died.
He's 85% alcohol.
Yeah. There's like a 1 or 2%. It's just booze.
Not just any booze.
Strong.
What's
Dwarven ale.
What's it? How much does a liter weigh
Depends on the liquid.
of ale?
I'll look it up.
Yeah, so like whatever that is that percentage of your body weight.
You have gained 5 pounds through ale alone.
So if you weigh 30 pounds and it's a pound, you are 1/30th ale. The moment Manzerek knew he was dead.
33.82 ounces into pounds.
Yeah, you can. It's 2
He
pounds.
can't.
Yeah, it's like 2 pounds. Okay. A little less than 2 pounds.
So 1/15th of you is alcohol.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So,
You calm down.
Ragnar had scooped up his amphibious companion, thrown him over his back like a wet rag, and he, the now passed out Manzerek, and Perry had decided to go and visit High Lord Mayor Hawthorne and get some answers. Damon and Dr. Isaac had stormed off into different sections of the Island of Power, and we will go ahead and pick it up there with the trio that is still together. So, the area that you were staying in kind of is made from this ivory marble, these columns that stretch up to a high vaulting ceiling, and these velvet kind of curtains that drop down and separate the resting areas where you had spent the night. As you step out, it seems the rest of the place that you were visiting is very much that same motif, that white marble structure, and it's very kind of like a Roman or Greek style. Perry, you do remember where High Lord Mayor Hawthorne often resides, having had gone there once with Melchior, and so you begin heading in that direction. You see that same half-orc standing guard. He looks down at you and without a word, simply opens the door for you. As he does so, it opens up into that same conference room. You do see 2 guards flanking either side of the door, but there is no one else in there except High Lord Mayor Hawthorne in his very lavish and expensive robes, that mane of silky black hair dropping down over his shoulders, as he has what looks to be a scroll stretched out in front of him, and he's reading something. He looks up at the three of you as he says, come in, take a seat. It looks like his mind is somewhere else, like he's very concerned about something.
Like a rag doll, I try to put Manzerek in a seat. Prop up.
Arms on knees.
You
Hey,
pour,
you can do whatever.
you pour him into the chair, and he just kind of like out onto the floor.
It's like the foot lamb chop it up in positions to mess with the animals now. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Roll for craft.
It seems wherever like you position him, his weight shifts into whatever the lowest part of his body is, and he just slinks into that, like into a kind of a greenish yellow pool.
Lovely.
Big oof, big oof.
Lord Mayor Hawthorne, what can you tell us about him? You helped my father marry him years ago. What do we need to know now?
Aha, my notes on my phone. I have them. I had a mini panic attack because I was like, oh, these are names I need. So, my Lord Mayor Hawthorne takes a moment and he looks at you. And then he looks over at your companions and he looks concerned, as if he doesn't trust them. He says, Perry, you'll forgive me. In light of kind of the recent things that have happened here in Driftport, I would like to take certain precautions to make sure that everyone in the room is on the same page. He pulls out a dagger. He says, I will go first. He reaches down, cutting his forearm. You see the blood, bright red, begins to drip down onto the table, and it makes like a light noise. He says, first thing. Oh!
Starts eating through the wall.
He sobers up. I feel faint. He says, the first thing that I would like to tell you is that the black blood can be exposed through the blood. These creatures make a perfect copy of whomever they've infected. He says, but they cannot hide their nature, and where they live.
So they make a copy of who they infected, or they become who they infected?
A copy is more accurate. As the person acts, the black blood is a perfect copy. They act the way the person would act. They draw from that person's emotions, that person's desires and ambitions. But the person is no longer there. Even if they are cured of the black blood, they have no recollection from the time they were infected into the present moment. He says where their consciousness goes, whether it's a comatose-like state or something else.
So you didn't recall any of the last 6 hours? Crazy.
Unfortunately, no. The last thing I remember is having the toast and the nightingale. Then
So
I
we saved Dramport and no one remembers.
I think we need to say Damon saved
It is a team effort. I helped a little.
He says that's not completely true. There were those unaffected by the black blood that I have spoken with, namely just Harvey Tremor. They said they stood with you at the base of the lighthouse. Before we go any further,
Excessive, but I do think a break.
he goes, I'm convinced.
I hand
answer.
High Lord Mayor Hawthorne's like, is he dead?
Is this needed?
He might be dead.
Pretty sure he helped out the drunk. Now he's drunk.
High Lord Mayor Hawthorne doesn't know what drunk you're referring to.
Jeez.
Oh, that's...
It's like even little prick. I don't know what he is. Hopefully
Looks
not
a little
black.
brown.
You know what? This isn't a question that I never asked.
It kind of drips out like molasses, just kind of streams.
Oh my.
Not quite black, but you know.
You look at it.
Oh, gross.
Color doesn't blood.
Color is frog blood?
Yeah.
Blood pressure is about like pushing.
Leopold.
Yeah, actually, yes. No need for the
So,
Too big.
opening up a small cut on the Gripply, he seems pleased. He looks to Ragnar. And I assume Ragnar just tanks it, and he's like, yeah.
I wasn't expecting the stab.
I wasn't expecting it to come out the back of my hand.
It is red.
I don't. Why didn't they use it? Oh, that's not. No, that's. What is green?
You know what?
As of the copper, not the
stigmata.
So you poked my hand.
Is it?
I would say not outside of your range.
Oh.
So.
I mean, a little bit.
That's my secret. I'm always mad.
I'm rich.
So you take that moment where you like lean over to Ragnar and you stop and you look at Ragnar and Ragnar's just holding his hand out and you're like, ooh. Stab. And then the red blood begins to roll out and you're like, ooh. Yeah.
Visible sigh of relief.
He says, excellent. Now that we're on the same page, everything is safe. We can talk freely. Because the questions that you have for me, says, of course, feel free to ask. I'm doing the best I can.
So, first and most important, what happened to Ava?
Ayla. Yes. He looks to you and he says, Ayla. He takes a moment, and it's almost like he wasn't expecting the right out of the gate question to be about something so heavy. He says, allow me to start from the beginning. Exposition, man. He says, your mother, she was Virginia from the Burning Sea. She had been brought over here as a slave at a young age. She was originally from Madrid, the capital of the Burning Sea. She was seen as an oddity, a high-priced slave to be brought over. When she was brought over into Dreamport by one of the slaver ships, your father had seen her. He was stricken by her beauty, her grace, and her talents. Your father came for money, and so a purchase of something so extraordinary was not outside of his power. So, despite what the others in his group, despite the opinions of the others in his group, he purchased her, granting her her freedom and allowing her to do whatever she would like. She chose to join the group to offer her talents and what they were doing, and she proved to be invaluable. The only thing that I know that had happened after they had left Dreamport is two of the people in your father's party. He hesitated when he said died, and he said, and I'm not sure if he died. You see, He reaches into his cloak and he produces the key. He lays it on the table. Your father had came back here after everything happened, after he and his companions were destroyed. He had trusted me with this key, but they had given me very little information on what it did or what they had done with them. He told me the less I knew, the better, in case the black blood, as you call it, was ever to reemerge. If it was to take over its host, it, as a collective, knows everything that person knew. It has their entire memories and information. So, he told me as little as possible so that if I was ever infected, it didn't have any more knowledge to use against it. And that, Perry, is what our war council was talking about. See, Ambros's fallen has become infected. Your father warned that this black blood could only extend out beyond its main source for a distance. You see, the door that lies beneath Grimport has been protected, warded, and guarded all these years after your father had sealed it. It was unable to infect anyone here in Grimport, he said. So, they found an outside influence. This I saw when it infected me. It came from another source, bringing it in, infecting, he hesitates, my son Melkor. Once it had infected him, it knew that it could gain all of the Council of Drimport together into one place, infecting us all at one time. Once the higher-ups and the most powerful magic users in Drimport were infected, the city would fall from the inside.
It's an intelligence. I believe.
Yes. However, he says, it seems the farther from its source that the black blood travels, the more independence that extension of it gains. You see, this portion, he taps the table here in Drimport, gained new knowledge that the original portion that infected Melkor is not privy to. And so that portion in Ambrose is the same. It knows everything that everyone in Ambrose knows, but not past that. And it cannot extend out beyond its borders until it is able to recirculate.
So each location has
Yes.
entity.
A sort of pool of energy from whence it draws. Powerful enough, it seems, to infect an entire kingdom.
But from where? What plane of existence does this thing belong to?
Originally, I'm not sure. However, currently, it resides here in the material plane. See, your father and his companions explained to me that it's beneath the ground, locked away in a vault, and has slowly been bleeding out into the surface over these centuries. These doors are something relatively new. They are not created by those who originally locked away the black blood. They were created to stop those extensions that have leaked out from its original source. And with it, each door has a key. Your father explained to me there are 5 of them. With one, he says, the one he trusted me with. You see, exposition. He says, you see, Galamandius, he lays his hand on the key. Galamandius was the one to figure it out. He told me that each one of these keys represents a part of the human, or part of the mortal body. He says one of the mind, one of the heart, one of the soul. Heart, mind, soul, body.
Captain Planet.
Stop! I have notes. I have good notes. Everybody calm down. He says one of the soul, one of the heart, one of the body, one of the mind, and the fifth one, to combine them all together.
What do they do?
He says that I'm not sure. Your father warned me, or I'm sorry, he says Galamandius warned me that each one of these keys, if used by those who hold it, it connects to them, it fuses to them, becoming one with the person that holds it. He says, I have never used this key. Never used it to open or shut the door beneath Dreamport, nor have I ever used the magics that it seems to hold.
Last thing was to find the other fort and to seek you out.
Perhaps this was the one he meant in the other four in their other locations. He speculates.
It's hard to tell. These are his last words. That mean is safety.
See,
I think he wants me to find all of them.
then that means that the Black Blood also knows the place. And will try to stop you.
It did seem to have intimate knowledge of my existence. Almost harder than me.
That would be good speak. Without even saying your name. As if it knew you.
This is the best way. Part of I want.
But if we specifically asked this one, and it's not the same one as Ambrose, with what he just said,
Well,
We're not-
had that.
correct, but knowing that now, if there's different ones, then each of them seem to know about you. Which means that each of them could be seeking after you if you don't hear it.
And what's happened in 16 years that these things are starting to come out.
Who knows? I don't know for how long those in Ambrose will stay in. My war council and I have decided that we are moving north. He says we are going to speak with Calvin, the capital city of, or Cabron, the capital city of Cabron. He said we're going to try to join forces with them. He says, and in doing so, we are going to try to stop any forces that extend out from Ambrose and going further south, by whatever means necessary that means.
Do you have the technology or ability to fight from a distance?
Because we have our magic users, and I now know how these things spread and how to avoid them. We will do our best. It says, but I will protect Grimport, and by extension, Haldarian at any cost.
I just can't imagine the army being taken out. When the civilians were hard enough to act and having physical experience arms. Just be careful in there.
He nods. This is my first time confronting the Black Lord in person, seeing it in its full force. Before, I only had the stories, the warnings, to combat this thing. As of now, Zal and
Yeah.
I are trying to come up with a plan to direct contact without threatening infection. See, it was her wards that kept the door from being open even with the key. The Black Blood took her over. She went down there to dissipate these spells. But it seemed that somebody had placed secondary that she was unable to expel at the time. Bought enough time that you were able to defeat. Speaking of, he says, we have recovered my son's body. But may I ask what happened to his?
He was a dang old thing.
You're right. I did.
You heard it. You heard it, though.
His head?
Maybe it was a byproduct of this creature of the black blood that left it.
Not fair to style.
I'm sure it's not important. He says, however,
Fire. That's important. Fire. Your army.
weak.
They seem to be.
If I were off, I'm pretty sure that whenever we hit it within melee range, it's half the black blood on us old. Burned, touch up really. So I can only imagine fire being the opposite, and something that needs to stay.
Keep that in mind. I'll let Zal know. We will prepare for that. Because, unfortunately, all contact that we've had with Cabron, they seem less than enthused about our ideas of strengthening. They see the surrounding areas as a threat. As once Ambros has gone silent, they're trying to snatch up the territory. Trying to convince them otherwise. Because if Cabron was to fall, that would make it so much worse. But going back to the original question about your mother, I don't know what happened. One thing I can tell you, though, is your father wasn't insane. And I know how that sounds. He lost someone that he cared about. And even in the few moments that I saw them together, it was very obvious that they were stripping each other. However, he seemed unbothered when he returned. As if he was numb. He spoke very matter-of-factly, very short. He gave me the key, and then he left. No. He and his companions sought them out and found them. He says, where they obtained the knowledge of the keys, or who had created the keys or the doors, I do not know. I only know that the doors are relatively new. New, maybe a millennia old, but not as old as the original existence of the Black Blood.
So what kind of magic system?
He slides it. When you touch it, you take 4 points of non-lethal damage as it jolts through your body and you fly back, almost falling out of your seat.
That is supposed to happen?
Never seen that before, he says.
I touch it. I was being sarcastic, but that's kind of funny.
4 more points of lethal damage.
Perry, I would have to advise you to not touch it again.
You know, that really hurt that time.
I'm not sure.
We should get all 5 of them together and then let you touch.
Do like a spell craft?
You may. Yes.
Interest.
However, the DEC for this is significantly higher because this is a unique item and you've never seen it before.
So sounds like a
With a D27, you have become sensitive to magics now. Almost being able to see the threads that connect them into their various forms and shapes and schools. Looking down at this holy symbol-sized key that lays out before you, and even this jolt that goes through your body, being of magical origin, it's conflicting with something. It's almost the same as theoretically putting a bag of holding into a pocket dimension. It has a violent thrust back. For some reason, to you, as if you were a magical item. But you don't know what that means or why.
right. I don't.
Want me to hold on to it for now? Put it in the bag. Just don't touch that.
As an extension of me.
A new thing, I have to hide it somewhere. You put it under the couch.
He's got the couch in here. Oxygen supplies. Okay, that's interesting.
I wish I could be more.
So do you know what the other
Unfortunately, no. I only know of the one in Brimford. Again, this was knowledge that your father thought was better left untold.
if they are able to gain any knowledge that what else?
How much over it?
Manzerek information.
Is that true?
What?
Just goes on. And the chain like to.
Almost can do it. You almost got a lot of money.
Almost. We can get pretty super.
And when it's up here, it's
Let's
That's,
there are
but if I had to venture a guess, which you probably already know, there is one.
just a clarify. There was only 4? Or was it
There's 5 or 5 keys.
5? But there was one for each section, and one that brought them all together. Would the one that brings them all together be another gate?
Again,
We'll figure this part out. That would be nice to know if. I mean, we really need to find. We can only vouch for one we know of.
well, let's try to
One we
track
can
down
assume.
Doc. Amen. Mend that relationship and
It's done. It's over.
try to move on.
I've murdered him.
You have fun with that. I'm gonna watch.
I was like, what do you mean? You leaving me too?
Nah, I'll watch this.
the guard opens the door and he says, "High Lord Mayor Hawthorne." There is the door bursts open as this gentleman slides into the room. He is wearing a blue tunic, but you see stripes on his shoulder of varying colors that make it bright and glitter outlandishly. He has... Do what?
Outside.
I'm sorry, I can't do this. He has a wide-brimmed hat with a feather that plumes out of the top of it, almost comically long and wide. As he steps into the room, he's wearing these well-polished shoes, and he has a mustache that extends out to either side and curls up on the tips, with a small kind of like soul patch goatee. As he steps into the room, and he says, "Yes, High Lord Mayor Hawthorne, it is me, Valamore the Bard, and I am here to speak to you, and I have questions." He says, "I can have them thrown out, sir," the guard says. He says, "Please, we're in the middle of a meeting." And he says, yes, of course, you barely know I'm here. First off, how did you defeat the infestation that came into the village? Why are you a child? Where is your shirt? I need answers, he says.
These are the questions.
He says, of course. He goes, the devil's in the details. He says, you need to know everything about the adventurers and the champions of the town to paint a perfect picture on why and how they're able to do what they do. Certain upbringings, where they come from, how they've overcome it, what it all means, a character arc. High Lord Mayor Hawthorne says, I'm going to have you murdered. I'm going to have you killed. Get out of my chamber. He says, we've been through this song and dance before. The guard goes to grab him and he like slips by and he like walks around your table in this like kind of fast-paced little walk as the guard is kind of like half chasing him. And he says, because he like flips over the table and gets on the other side as he grabs Manzerek and starts moving the chair between him and the guard. And he says, because the people deserve to know what happened. Who their savior is. What happened here? He says, it was a combined effort of the Justicar and the Black Butterfly that we were able to push this infestation back as quickly as we did. That is all you need to know. He kind of looks to you like, if that's what you want me to tell him.
Blackberry Brigade had some help.
Oh, the Blackberry Brigade! He goes, that. He picks up Manzerek and hands it to the guard. The guard like drops you. And he goes, what is the Blackberry Brigade? And he goes, I need to know.
A ragtag group of adventurers, both cunning and strong.
I'm seeing Lord Mayor Hawthorne have that like
That's
anime like cross like hashtag on his forehead and it's like pulsing. Sorry.
He's Nathan Fillion in that meme.
We met in the lovely Blackberry Farms.
So you are part of the Blackberry Brigade.
Of course!
And he goes, someone so young. And he says, tell me, do you suffer from a curse? Are you actually an incredibly powerful wizard gallivanting as a young human? He says.
How did you even know?
He says, he like stops and he looks at you. He's going to roll sense motive on that.
They're all low.
Oh yeah, it'll be contested.
That's fine. 27. I rolled a 19. Yeah.
Good try.
Alright.
He says, He says, yes, of course. A high, powerful wizard disguised as a human. He says, you can roll sense motive if you like.
Doubtful. 13.
Firstly, he doesn't believe that you're a high, powerful wizard. Secondly, he says human with a sense of like irony and flair.
I'm much older than
He says, right, of course. The guard grabs him and he goes, oh no, I've been caught. Well, thank you so much for your time. And he says, I look forward to speaking to you on a later date. And he says, farewell, as he is drug out and the door shuts. High Lord Mayor Hawthorne says, I've had enough with bards.
What does he do?
He bards. He says,
Bards into the room.
he says he's actually in charge of one of our most prestigious newspapers in Grimport.
Freedom of the press is overrated.
It's called Bardic Inspiration.
That's it.
Of course it.
Damn it.
What else could it be? An actual
We need a
newsletter.
recap of our
It's gonna be a
episode.
newsletter.
It's just
Bardic Inspiration.
Today in Bardic Inspiration.
Oh, that's amazing. That's brilliant, right? did do that for a living.
Yeah, I know you did. Wait,
That was a lot.
He says, I apologize.
Brightness.
However, I would warn you that you're going to be getting a lot more attention. Where will you go? What are your plans? He said.
Don't know.
Our other lead is. I'll look down at Manzerek.
Manny, roll me a fortitude save.
Man.
Oh.
It's not
16?
Okay, he's unconscious. He's still in.
I look down and I'm like, wherever his vision was, that would probably be the best bet. Going there.
And we can't really cover
Correct.
and our and our paladin and our doctor.
I think there'd also be one.
Yeah, let's go find them and get the game.
You can go mend that.
I can't.
Watch this though.
You're a man of prestige education. He says, yes, stay as long as you need. He says, our servants will see to you. You're welcome to anything else in the kingdom that I have to offer. He says, oh, and one other thing. Two other things, as a matter of fact. He reaches down, he pulls out a satchel of gold. Says, a small thanks from me for what you have done.
That me too.
Do you think they know?
Hold on. That was 10,000 gold pieces.
Okay.
Oh,
That's it. We got 10,000 gold pieces between you and I. Heck
I
yeah.
was about to say I got
Sorry.
nothing.
I'll give
Three of
Manzerek.
us.
I'll give Manzerek one and see if it wakes him up. What a slot machine.
Renato is watching.
And he says, also, another gift that I give to you is my royal pardon. He pulls out the flute, the grave robin. This was found amongst my son's belongings, and a questioning of Violet on how he obtained it. Your name was given. Yes, I see. So it would probably be best. He slides the flute over to you. If this was never
Oh man, I wish I was like awake.
Actually, I use
I had feelings about that flute.
my ranged mage hand, and it just kind of. It's very obvious and slow, and it just like magically gets across the table and they go
doesn't move at all. Because no, it's not more than 5 pounds. It's a magical item. Mage hand can't move magical item.
Unless your mage hand is specific.
back.
Your mage hand specifically can move attended items, which is not something mage hand can normally do.
He's playing the class that may be the exception.
So you do the same thing 12-year-old Eli did when he watched Star Wars, and you're like, it's just not moving. I'm gonna be a Jedi. And I'm like,
Are you kidding? I still want to be a Jedi.
Just start moving stuff randomly.
Right.
I would definitely say. Because
Would
the
it-
pardon
For
part.
what?
The pardon part.
Are you telling him to say
Would
thank you
it-
to him?
I can tell this.
Might be too much to handle. Damon's sister and her
Brother?
That's not her brother. Is that the weird?
Oh, that was one of the
That would
balls
be
they
incest.
got.
I don't think she murdered him. She took the blame for a thief, which ended up being her fiance. Yes, so she actually did not murder nobody.
you can tell he has no idea what you're talking about. He does not know who
What was
she
her name?
is.
Damon's sister.
I don't know who Damon is. I've never met Damon.
I really want to say Tatiana for some reason. I know it's not it.
I love my Tatiana. I don't know where it's from a podcast away for a long time.
Please call me Tati.
Someone's been watching Critical Drinker.
Naughty Tati.
Zal knows.
But also know that Meryl knows who she is.
And Meryl knows.
But Meryl is not in Grimward.
Right.
Yeah. However, Adriel is. Just,
Those Adriel.
Yeah, those are just things thrown
That's
out
his
there.
name, Adriel. And his fiance. Alright, thank you for their partying. I appreciate it. Let's go.
I know less about what's going on now than I did when you came in here.
I just looked through my notes to find her name. I don't have her name, but I have friggin' Whizbang. An NPC we met for literally 4 seconds. And I don't have her name.
So,
You mean Tamris? By the way, Tamris?
I'm gonna write that down.
I just wanted to see if they grew up.
yeah, I knew it would start with a T. That's why
I got you, Amos.
I came up with a name. It just wasn't the right one.
Some random murderer named Johnson
Adderall.
that's been released from prison. Alright. Yeah.
Do you know what the significance of Bar Abbas being released was?
Yeah.
What his name?
Yeah.
Go on.
I seek out our companion.
So, let us go first to Dr. You were insulted by your goat hoots and you had stormed out of the room after somebody had blamed you for something. You felt like it was undeservedly earned.
It was more of I walked out before I knew, because I knew the next step for me would be starting to resort to violence against him, and that's, I know better than to do that. Not even from like I can hit him thing to that's not who I am and what I need to be.
Right.
I would immediately just find, because my first thought would be to find her work. I need something to physically do. So I would either look to see if maybe Zal has a lab here, or if there's like a healing tent that needs help or something.
Got you.
So I'd ask the nearest attendant, my kindest voice I can draw if possible.
Please, can I ask help?
If you're looking for Zal specifically,
I would ask for Zal specifically because I have questions for her.
yes. So if you follow that chain, it will take a little longer to find her, but you can eventually find her.
That would be my first gut reaction is let me find her. I have questions for her.
So after a time, Zal, you ask about, they say, yes, she is on the island. She's doing something right now, blah, blah, blah. And I assume you're the kind of, I don't take no for an answer, I'll wait kind of guy. Yeah. So I would say maybe like anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour passes from the time you start looking for her to the time she arrives.
And the entire time I've opened up my formula book because I'm starting to learn more and more about the spells I have in this, and I'm starting to unlock them.
She approaches you. She looks worried and concerned, like she has just been working on something and her mindset is still there, even though her body is here. She steps up and she says, Dr. Tone, please forgive me.
Of course.
He says, I would like to thank you and your companions for the rescuing of Trimboy.
Oh. Yes, I guess that is what I've done. And she would see me close my formula book, which, as a sorcerer, sorcerer?
You ask her?
Yeah. So, sorcerer or wizard? It's hard to tell sometimes.
Sorceress, she says.
My apologies. And I put away my formula book.
She says, as a matter of fact, I do have something to extend my gratitude. She reaches into her bag of holding and she produces Burn. Hey. He says, by the way, can we have like a minute? Just me and the doctor. He looks to him, then looks to you for your approval.
A question, maybe not now, but I would like to eventually answer. Not show her both tattoos, or I guess brains.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on identifying them. I don't know where I got them from, where they came from.
First thing, those aren't holy symbols, she says.
Correct.
She pretty much tells you everything you already know.
And I'm sort of like confirming, like, good, I'm on that right track. Yes, I'm on that right track.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of like that back and forth of intellectuals, like, this is what I know. Damn. Are you sure?
No. She says.
Why? Now I'm purposely keeping his mouth shut.
Why is she not sure?
Why are you giving it to me?
He says he has something for you.
It's a temporary gift, or
This is a temporary gift. She says, I am not giving up my familiar again. She
that's
says,
why I was questioning.
he has something to tell you, and he refuses to share it with me. And I'm not sure what it is. She takes a few steps back.
If you ever have the need of an alchemist, I'm always willing to lend my services. And I sort of toss Burn up in the air and catch him where his face is upright.
He says, there's always a place in the island of knowledge.
She takes a few steps back. She walks over to, like, the reception area and begins speaking to people behind the desk, and it seems like she needs to talk to them about something anyway. So Burn says, So, listen, I wasn't completely honest when I told you about your brands.
Find like a table and just sort of set him there.
I wasn't completely honest when I told you about your brands.
Uh-huh.
I gave you half the truth.
Uh-huh.
Thing is, I don't think there's anyone else in Drimport that can tell you about those than me. Better than I can.
Uh-huh.
Because those specific brands deal with the undead.
Neat.
Or death, specifically.
Which one?
Both of them.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. He says, you see, you are branded by a god. 2 deities, as a matter of fact. And he says, but I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
Officially 342.
Ah, just a baby, huh?
Yeah, depending on who you ask.
In the overall grand scheme of things, 300 years is nothing.
Sure.
Unfortunately, that's not correct.
It's not.
Yes. You, Dr. Tone, are much older than that.
And that's the problem. It's hard to date something that exists before most of the buildings have been.
No, you're quite a catch. I date you. But...
I'm flattered?
No. He says, yes, exactly. If you can't recall where you've been for the last however many years, it's going to be hard to pin down how long you have been branded. See, it's hard to say whether it's a curse or a boon. It may be a bit of both. He says, but that has damned your soul.
I somehow already knew that.
Yes, he says. But specifically, whatever 2 deities have branded you as such won't allow you to die until you have fulfilled whatever they're playing at. And that doesn't mean you're immortal. That just means no natural cause of death can stop you.
Right.
Old age being one of them. However, if you do die, depending on which side you favor, depends on what's going to happen to your eternal soul.
Look at that. Well, if we're throwing out ideas, I know I've had the black one longer than the gold one.
That's so.
I've had flashbacks, memories, and the black one was there.
He ponders for a moment. Says, and that means another deity has tried to claim you for a certain reason. Which either means that you have redeemed yourself, trying to pull yourself from whomever owned you before, or she feels like you, or they feel like, you hush! They feel like you owe them something.
I feel like redemption is not a switch you flip, it's a road you walk. I haven't redeemed myself yet, but it is my path towards redemption. The chains have inherent meaning. The mark of slavery. The black one is a mark of the land, of the ruler of the land. He who rules the land rules me. The gold is a mark of mercy, of healing. I have to help the people. I have to help. I can't not heal people. Compulsion.
I'm going to tell you something I think you already know then. No matter what you do, your soul is promised to one of them. I think it's up to you who you want to commend your soul to.
So it means nothing has changed in the hundreds, thousands of years.
Sure.
So the question truly is, how long has it been since the sky was red?
Sorry.
It used to be red.
Not here on the material plane, he says. Unless you're from somewhere else.
Hell, level 9,000.
9,000?
I'm from the third circle.
I'm a solid 4 circle. The 5th circle guys are jerks and don't want to hang out with them.
He says, sounds to me like that's not a concept of time, that's a concept of where, location. However, that can be a little more easily pinned down.
Maybe, but the Black Blood knew me. They watched me die the first.
What?
That's what they said. You were there.
No, yeah, but he says, I didn't know that's what that meant.
Yeah. In my dream, I watched myself die. I sacrificed myself so Handsome Joe, I refuse to say his actual name, was trapped, imprisoned.
Sounds like you have a lead. But anyway, that's the best I can give you. That's literally all I know. And my full end of the bargain. I hope that helps.
You're giving me more questions than answers. Did that help? Sure. Did you fulfill your end of the bargain to the letter of the T? Sure. Have fun with the snake sorcerers.
Well, there is a way you can find out.
Yeah, I don't think me and him are on talking terms right now.
Well, besides that, you could die. Find out which one comes to claim you.
Yeah. I don't foresee that benefiting me right now.
No, but it is an option.
Oh, thanks.
I'm here to help.
You don't take fall damage, right? Just reminding myself of that particular aspect about you.
Right?
So if I was to throw you as hard as I could against that wall, then that wall, I have some anger to bring out.
Please no. Want to talk about it, big guy?
Nah.
Good. Default over.
Are the people in this tower just okay with you existing?
He's moving himself with his What?
He says, well, I am her familiar, and she's kind of in charge of the Tower of Magic. But I really don't care.
I know you don't care.
Says, do your companions have any opinions about you existing?
One of them does.
Have you been honest with them about your marks? About what they mean? About who you've been?
Well, that requires me to know truly who I've been.
Well, good luck with that.
Thanks.
But unless throwing me is the only thing we have left to discuss, I think we're done here.
Yeah. If Zala's still over there, the receptionist desk, I'll take him over to her and just plop him in the back.
He says, "We had a great talk."
He says, I hope he was more helpful than normal.
I feel like you know this, but a little of both.
Yes. That's part of the reason that he found himself in Sue's
On the back of a skull crack.
That's hilarious.
It was quite funny. Lost his jawbone. It wound up on a skeleton without a head.
She like opens the bag and looks down. She shuts it.
You had quite the adventure. Look at it.
Oh. Well, that can happen in a few years. She says,
Question. For mighty and powerful and knowledgeable sorcerers. How long has it been since the sky was red? Here.
the sky has never been red.
Interesting. I just sort of maybe turn and walk away.
What a strange thing to ask.
If you would like, you can roll me knowledge, nature, or history.
History. Actually, I can do both.
Knowledge, natural history.
I could do knowledge, natural history. I will do nature. I might as well have taken the 10. A 21.
21. So,
You would know that serpent folk have a long history with the material plane. Serpent folk at one time were the dominant mortal species on the planet. They were the ones that mastered a lot of the magics and the schools of magics as they are known today. But ever since Skyfall, they are all but extinct. She is an oddity. You've never seen one, and you kind of like never really expect to see another serpent folk again.
As a tiefling, I feel like I understand.
Oh yeah, yeah. You relate very much. So for her to say that means that and also serpent folk are very prideful creatures just by nature.
Right.
So she probably is, and the fact that she is so well versed in magic means that she has so much knowledge about where she comes from, the magics that she has, probably dating back to Skyfall, which is where written history of the material plane kind of ended and re-began. And for her to say that leads you to believe either you are older than Skyfall or you are from another plane of existence.
Indeed. It depends.
Depends on who you ask.
It depends if Eli's changed the story, if we agreed upon the same one.
Just keep them guessing.
He's an, he's an alien.
I have time.
I am
Of course.
I'm a native outsider, so that is a thing. He would actually then go find, if he's in the main atrium, he would find a Justicar and ask whether if there's a healing tent on the island, like a temporary medical tent set up, and just go back to work helping people that are not magically healing, but manually healing, bandaging, patching, talking to people because of his diplomacy. Taking a 10 is a 20, so helping people talk through what they happened and that kind of thing.
So the Black Blood did extend to this island. That happened. There were people that fought it off, and especially since this is the most heavily guarded place on the entire island, where it occupies the vast majority of everything here, the guards did fight off a large number of civilians that came here. So there are hurt people there. And it doesn't take you long to go down and find people of the different religions, everything from Desna to Gozra to Serenre, all these people that are healing and helping people. And it seems like they are traveling from island to island, helping people and even going back to the mainland. So, you do find that thing.
Yeah.
Real quick. Is it a praise check to sell wares at a higher level, right?
Yes.
At a higher cost?
Yeah, get more than half.
More than half?
There was.
Yes.
Oh, Delaney, did you want a masterwork rapier?
Yeah, I already got that.
Did we find two? Because I had one.
You don't need the 30.
You can take the player out of the road.
He's always been a rogue.
Yes.
Even when he was a cleric, he was a rogue.
He changed his name on Steam.
Not a road.
That's probably a good idea.
Said
We're not
every
going to go
rogue.
to what it was, but
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
He's always start out when they rocket for you.
Yeah, because it's always like, this is not appropriate. I'm like,
It didn't used to be.
it used to be. Until. Anyways.
Until EA Sports bought it.
Pretty much.
Neat.
Fix your servers.
They're watching.
They're not epic.
Yes.
Cool.
Cool. Right?
If you could look those real quick,
I will.
That'd be
I
cool.
gotcha.
Yeah. I can't recall off the top of my
No,
head.
you're fine. I got you. I just want to make sure.
Anyway.
Storming out of the room with your pitcher of dwarven mead, where do you go?
Where you stumble.
Maybe not the highest tower I can find, but just to sit at the edge.
You are sober.
Not outside the railing, just to sit at the edge, look out over the water, and get myself back in the mess I was that he took from me.
So, it's not hard to find a place like that. The stairs go up, and a lot of the people seem to know who you are, and they allow you to pass. The guards don't stop you from going to different areas. You do see some guards standing by doors, and when you get close, they kind of take up a more attentive stance as if they're not going to let you in that specific door.
Mm-hmm.
But passing through, you seem to be fine to explore anywhere you like. You do find this kind of open portal that allows the sea air to rush through. The building in its entirety, a lot of places lack windows, but seems have been kept up through prestidigitation, keeping any seabirds or moss or anything like that from forming and making a mess of these open portals that overlook the sea below. So when you stand there, it's probably a 10-foot tall portal with two columns that rise up to either side. Climbing up maybe about on a 3-foot ledge and then sitting with your feet off the edge, you can look straight down. If you were afraid of heights, this would give you that very kind of vertigo sense.
No, it's not heights that I'm afraid of.
Yes.
I wrote down what it is.
And you can see the buildings that stretch out before you, kind of like just like the rolling foam of the ocean, but building tops that extend out before you get to the green moss-covered edges of the rocks that then feed into the ocean beyond. The lighthouse above you spiraling out with its prism-like light that illuminates everything, even in the daytime.
There's happiness.
You sit there listening to the call of the gulls, the other seabirds kind of darting around, as you just take that moment to yourself, smelling the salty sea air. You get maybe... You said you wanted to get back into that?
Maybe not as quick.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly not going to start breaking.
Then I'm gonna have you roll me one fortitude save.
Uh, 27.
Oh, you good.
Yeah.
So you drink and you kind of steel yourself this time, right? You know where you've been, where it's going, and maybe even that druidic magic still lingers about in your body. Manzerek somewhere getting even more drunk as you're
Please
like
stop. Please stop. My
As-
little body can't
He's
take
starting to
it.
mutate.
I'm dying.
Oh, is he dead?
He's gonna have a beer belly.
Well, when he wakes up, make him drink. So
I'm gonna die.
So you sip your ale out of the pitcher, right? As you do so, you hear from behind you, you know, brother, that's gonna send you to an early grave. You're not an easy man to find. Adriel steps up beside you.
That was kind of the idea.
He is wearing, like, you kind of go, that was the idea. I assume you glance at him, and then you have to kind of do one of these. He is wearing politician robes. I know. He says, it's a shock to see me. I'm surprised I'm here too. He sits on the ledge with you.
I say, kind of a half smirk, and says, stress.
He says, I know, right? It allows it to breathe as he kind of like waves it for everyone that might be looking down. Like, it's like, yeah. But when he does so, you can see his slacks and boots underneath. Like, he just kind of over everything.
Who'd you steal that from?
He says, that's not important. Listen, brother. He says, I want to talk to you about something. Because it's kind of been gossip around the building what happened earlier this morning. He says, I know you can't drink all day unless you start in the morning. He reaches over to take the picture from you. You allow
I let him.
He takes a sip. But he just pours it like.
What the hell are you doing?
If you had to ask me, brother, I know you're going through a hard time right now.
This guy is a mess.
This is a serious moment. Shut up. I'm trying to.
This guy's
trying to focus. Okay.
If you ask me, brother, I know you're going through a hard time. I never knew my parents. I was abandoned as a child, and Merrill found me several years ago, and I've been with the pirates ever since. He says, but I know what it's like to lose. And I know what it's like to love. I know you loved your parents, at least a little bit. Otherwise you wouldn't be killing yourself with this poison, he says as he sets it to the side. He says, but I think your sister needs you. As much as you want to drown yourself because of what happened, as much as you might blame yourself for what happened, you're not the only one it's going to affect. And she's going to need us both.
I'm there. I'm fine. You got you? I mean, can't all be bad.
You want to know why I was so warm to call you brother? Because when I met you for the first time, it wasn't all that I've known about you. She's talked about you. She's told me everything about you. How strong you were, he says, like, grabbing your bicep, right? He says, how dependable you were. Your father cared about the Justicar, but she didn't. He loved you for you. She was scared and lost when you left. But you know she doesn't blame you.
Not really. I'll be honest with you.
Of course. If you can't be honest with a pirate, who can you be honest with?
That needs to be written down. I don't know what to believe in.
Amen.
Like, just a car training, it's 6 years non-stop. Go, go, go. You go through the final test, and it's the Rady's there through the entire thing. They don't stop talking about her. Even when they talk about the first Falcon, she is still there, even in that story. And it's almost as if we're pushed to become just like he was. His perfect faith, his ability to face the hordes of never back down. And then when push came to shove, couldn't beat him. She kicked me out. This is not metaphorical. Practical. This goes no further. Part of the final test is a face-to-face meeting. And she abandoned me because I wouldn't or couldn't live up to it. And then I met another Justicar just like me. one who's long dead and had even more hatred than I did. And I didn't want to be like that either. I don't want to be a justifier. I don't want to be him either. I don't know what I want. Now, even the people who have asked for advice are gone. Because of me. Does Amherst really need that?
I don't know much about gods or deities or what they expect. And he says, but I do know what I observe. He says, let me ask you a question. He points down. You see Dr. Tome, like way down there, because he kind of stands out,
Okay.
walking over to the other priests as they're like helping people, right? He says, you see the purple moss or whatever they call themselves. You see them followers of the sea, and you see them priests there, right?
Yeah.
You think they're all perfect? You think they don't make mistakes?
Oh. Just everybody makes mistakes.
And in my humble opinion, so do the deities, so do gods. That's why there's so many of them. You know, there's the god of walls, and the god of the ocean, and the god of this pitcher of firewater. He says, there's a god for everything. He says if they's perfect, they wouldn't need so many of them. They always picking up each other's slacks or arguing about something. He says, they make mistakes. But if you ask me, he says, kind of like extending his hand, he says, a rose is beautiful. Yeah. In its color and its sweet aroma. A rose has thorns, don't it? I'd say that's not perfect. But a rose doesn't question what it is or even care about the people that pick it. It has its thorns, it has its sweet odor. He says, you, my friend, you as handsome and sweet as any rose. It's thorns and all.
Damon can't help it. He just starts to chuckle. Does Eldril?
I'm listening.
Thank you. What's happening? Keep going further.
He puts his arm around you. With your strength and my good looks, I don't see how we can't go wrong.
No, seriously, you still have
I don't know his name. He's in the closet if you want to ask him. But anyway, I don't think we need to sit around very long. He stands up. He says, so, what's the plan of action?
I think the Manzerek. We'll talk to him if he's.
Oh, great. He says, as long as he ain't been drinking this, I think we'll be good. As he walks away.
Oh,
You've done this to me.
You did this to yourself.
You could have stayed sober. I did this for you.
Third level spell
He's
for
still sober.
you.
He's still sober, though. No, he's
I know.
So, heading out, it doesn't take you long to find where Hawthorne's chamber is, and you know that meeting chamber is where they'd be.
Mm-hmm.
And about the time it took you to go have conversations about how long the meeting took. So, in a moment of fortuitous timing,
Serendipity, if you will.
serendipitous timing, they step out as you walk up. Oh, fancy that, we don't found him.
Is Manzerek recovered yet?
Manzerek, you recovered yet?
Oh, he's dead.
I guess we should take him to a tent and see if
I'd say it's been an hour, so you're about 25% of the way. Because I did roll 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you're like 25% of the way through it.
What gradually?
Now
You want me to roll another fortitude save?
Give it to me, my guy.
Probably.
It is dwarven now.
Yeah. That'd be a 26.
Ooh.
You have a +2 morale bonus on all physical stats, and -2 on.
Oh, yeah, you need that. Let me give you some damage. 7 points of damage.
That's fine.
Is that acid damage?
-2 on
All mental stats, but you keep your benefits for the physical stats. But you start to come to, and you are like 2.5 sheets to the wind. As like your eyes just kind of they actually blink in sync, which everybody knows is not good.
Oh no.
Oh, your eyes are together. Why are you talking?
I lie there
That's how he's hearing it.
and like just staring up at this.
You ate the wrong one, didn't you?
And I think to myself, probably erroneously, that if I was bigger. So I think big thoughts. And I turn into a diary.
Oh, gee!
I am literally a gigantopithecus lying on the ground.
Whoa!
This became much more difficult to track.
Don't worry, he does this all the time. This is normal. That's a drunk monkey.
That's a
drunkie.
I like roll over and like try to stand, like under myself, and I still keep like, it's not working out. And as I realize that I am still drunk, I just turn back into myself.
Oh, great.
Oh no.
Doing great.
I think you broke him.
I would like to.
You want me to put you in bed? He didn't say no. I take him to bed.
What did you say?
I got you.
I'd love to, Ragnar, but I need some sleep.
I will be back. Are we all in the room or no?
Well, actually,
You're like in the hall.
we need.
I go to the room.
No. As you're starting to walk off, though, I'm like, Ragnar, we need him
He
conscious.
is useless at the moment.
Let's take him to see one of the healers.
Good boat.
He said get wrecked. I keep going.
That's what he said.
Well, that was rude.
Yeah, here you go.
Good boat, March.
Here you go. Here you go. I put 500 gold in each again.
Woo!
It's like I should talk to you more often. Hang on.
Huh?
Hang on.
Oh, you're not there? I thought you were there.
Hang on.
No, he's a leader.
Hang on. That math ain't mathing, my guy.
Good boat, March. Yesterday.
Wonderful. That's a plan. Except all sea travel outside the port's been closed off since Ambrose.
We have to go on the sea to go to your place?
Bastard.
Unless you got some kind of, I don't know, you know somebody you can pull a favor from that allow us to take a boat.
Probably. Probably.
I'm a politician now.
Oh, you're a pirate, you're a politician. Pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So we'll be the first pirate politician.
Yes,
we
we're
gotta
getting
find Doc.
I lie down.
Well, doctor. Not a dog. The dog.
Once Once we know where we're going.
You're like a pyretician.
A pyretician.
Pyretician, I was what to say. It's more accurate. More better.
It more better.
Let's go find Dr. Isaac. Are you guys on talking terms?
He didn't say yes.
You can stand. He's standing both of us.
Don't try not to walk
You don't go talking.
Maybe an apology.
Do you say that I sit up and I'm apologize?
Fills up stomach. Oh, I need that.
Like flies in there. Just-
Oh.
No,
When did
weird. Pickled nuts again.
They're drunk.
Just smelling vinegar.
Manzerek's at a nice restaurant. Wait, there's a fly in my suit. Well done.
It's delicious. Bring another.
Yeah, have some more.
Waiter, my fly's in a soup.
Dumb.
I specifically ordered fly sans soup. Not fly sans soup. Get it right.
Waiter, what does this fly do in my soup? The backstroke, sir.
Anyway, so I assume you find Dr. Tone,
let's go
or
find
do you go
Dr.
talk to
Tone.
Hawthorne first, or do you take him to bed?
Yes.
Okay,
All the above.
you go to bed. You go to Hawthorne.
You two go find Joel. And apologize. You said some pretty racist stuff, Joel. You may not remember it.
Oh,
but you did.
buddy. I'll let you go find him.
No problem.
Where is that popcorn stand? Where is that popcorn stand?
You have a problem with Dr. Isaac?
It's between me and him, isn't it?
Good point.
Go find him.
Sometimes we do have to put down sleeping elephants.
Come on. Come on.
And
I start pushing him away. Let's
I
go.
hand you a sack of rolls to give to him. You're cut. It's cut.
I'll get cut. Oh, that's not as much.
The
Alright,
more
we
gold
go.
than the commoner would ever see in their lifetime, but you know.
Ragnar, go find
He's a
Dr. Tone.
politician.
Go look for Dr. Tone.
Right.
Oh my god, that's a word now.
Okay. A few moments helping people. You do see your companions making their way to down the beach to you.
Have fun. I
Where
stop
you going?
I'm falling behind you. You're the one apologizing, not me.
I'm not apologizing.
Do I hear this entire conversation?
I'd assume.
I go, oh, hey, doctor, he's got something to say to you.
You're cut.
I step back.
Me and all the clerics are just like,
I just hold up the bag. You're cut, apparently.
This is your part of the
You
money.
get like about 2,500
Thanks.
gold.
Hawthorne gave us money.
We're gonna be leaving soon. Welcome to join us.
where? Was I unwelcome to join you for a brief point?
Anywho, wherever Manzerek is telling us we need to go. We're gonna be leaving soon.
Adrel looks confused too.
Hi, Adriel.
Hello.
Sorry. Hi, random politician I've never met before.
Of course. Keep up the good work. He points to like a random cleric. That's like,
Don't tell me.
don't listen to you. Yeah, bandage that up. That. Oof.
Don't bandage the burn. It's. I imagine I was in the middle of like explaining to like a novice, like, "Hey, this is how you heal this particular thing."
Roll me heal check.
That one.
No, it's better than average.
That was
Hilarious.
You gotta spit on it.
27.
Everyone is
Feel,
listening
hot
to you.
You take the Bengay.
Oh,
Right in
oh
the
no!
To put it into perspective,
Heal the
the
dead
average
first.
healer here is hitting about a 15.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my bonuses.
Yeah, and so they are like, they're very focused on what you have to say as they are like doing as they're being told. He feels very much in his element when you approach him.
So yeah, I finished explaining. I was like, I do have to go. It's been a lovely time.
Well, thank you so much for your help.
Of course, always.
Oh, they, the cleric of Desna reaches into her pouch. She pulls out a silver holy symbol of Desna worth 50 gold pieces. She says, as gratitude for everything that you and your companions have done.
Thank you. Because I'm still not used to getting gifts.
Correct.
I don't know.
Adding 2,500 gold pieces and a 50.
That's
gold
like
piece.
Delaney's experience difference.
Max is just like,
So, I assume you accompany your companions back.
I do follow my companions, and it would be like the entire fight we had, because if I even like an hour had been spent in the healing tent, it's like I've just let that go.
I got you.
So like you're acting like there's some animosity, and I'm like there's nothing there.
I am internalizing that shit. So we are very opposite ends of that spectrum of dealing with that nonsense.
I'm gonna let that form into a cancer.
I can treat it.
That'll be.
Head off. I can take it.
I'm gonna cut that off before it gets any farther. Speaking with Hawthorne, he does grant you passage. He writes you a writ of permission if you are ever stopped by anyone within Drimport's authority. So the way that this is going to work. So Drimport sits on this kind of northern tip of the southern portion of the Haldarian kingdom. Haldaria is below it. Martrek is just a jump across the gulf. It's going to take about 3 days by ocean to get over there, under average conditions. The way that y'all had walked in to Drimport took about a week. That was hugging the southern coast to get there. If you were to walk this distance into Martrek that he is talking about, it would take you probably 2 weeks. You would know that to go to the tree would take about that same amount of time. But you do know that the few days to Martrek and then the few days up would probably cut that in half. So, Yarb. So, you have procured a ship. He said it'll be ready for you. He tells you exactly what port it will be at.
Perfect.
Do you wait for him to sober up, or do you just pack your bags and drag him along?
we can let him be sober so he can do some shopping.
Lame.
So, your companions are going to do a little bit of shopping. They're going to get everything prepared before they get on the ship and head to Martrek, and we will take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment. See you.
Shopping.